Chapter 1. A Love That Couldn't Be Touched. You are listening at FameTV.com. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Although it was the start of autumn, the city of Haicheng rained heavily for a few continuous days, causing the whole city to be enveloped in mist and the air to be especially humid and cold. Once she exited the cafe, Lin Nuan felt the chill in the air. Lin Nuan. Gu Hanyan rushed out of the cafe and grabbed Lin Nuan, who was holding up an umbrella. She yelled in her shrill voice, the 4 years when Mo's hen went missing, his inheritance rights, company shares, and even the car and house under his name were taken away by his younger brother, when Moshi. Lin Nuan's back froze slightly. The only thing I can save for when Mo's hen now is myself. I don't want to see the day Mo's hen returns only to find that he has nothing left. Lin Nuan felt a blow to her heart, bringing her deep pain. When Mo's hen was a love that couldn't be touched, hidden at the bottom of Lin Nuan's heart. Gu Hanyan stood unprotected from the rain, while Lin Nuan stayed under the shadows of her umbrella. The two were at a stalemate. Lin Nuan pulled back her wrist from the other's grip, took out a large black coat from her shoulder bag and wrapped it around herself to draw away some of the chill seeping into her bones. You can force me now only because I love when Mo's hen, but if he returns one day and finds out the truth, I will surely become an irremovable thorn wedged between the two of you. Gu Hanyan, do you dare to take that chance? Gu Hanyan's lips trembled as she wanted to reply yes, but she was afraid that answering without hesitation would cause her love to sound shallow. As she wavered, her almond-shaped eyes turned red and a teary mist covered them, making her seem all the more delicate and pitiful in the rain. Lin Nuan's fair, slim fingers gripped tightly onto the umbrella, her knuckles turning white. Her gaze was clean and calm as she waited for Gu Hanyan's reply. Gu Hanyan said nothing for a long time. Lin Nuan turned to leave, yet when her gaze fell on the other side of the road, on the tall brooding man standing beside the Bentley, she paused in surprise. The black car was parked right underneath the streetlight. The orange light scattered amongst the raindrops to create a soft, misty halo that landed on the man's broad shoulders, outlining his tough facial features. A man with such outstanding looks and a strong stable aura would shine wherever he was, to the point where he was impossible to ignore. It was Fu Huaiyan. She didn't know why, but seeing Fu Huaiyan at that moment, Lin Nuan actually felt a trace of guilt pushing her to feel insecure. Even though she hadn't yet decided on whether to help Gu Hanyan, even though she hadn't done anything yet, she started panicking once she saw Fu Huaiyan. A gust of wind mixed with raindrops blew over, chilling Lin Nuan's entire body almost instantly. Lin Nuan clenched her fist around the umbrella tightly, frozen as she watched the man opposite her. She desperately wanted to tear her uneasy gaze away from him, but her body was as still as a statue and she was unable to move. A middle-aged man had walked out together with Fu Huaiyan from the fragrance residences. Seeing that Fu Huaiyan had a cigarette between his fingers, he tried buttering up to him by holding up a lighter with both hands, wanting to light the cigarette for Fu Huaiyan. Fu Huaiyan's hair and stiff suit were slightly wet from the rain, and he had one hand in his pocket. It was a pose that made him seem superior to others, his pride showing through his expression along with an aura of nobility. Accompanying Fu Huaiyan was his good friend Lu Jinan who, the moment after he exited the fragrance residences, noticed Lin Nuan on the other side of the road. He raised a brow in surprise and adjusted his collar, his uplifted eyes narrowing by half as he walked towards Fu Huaiyan. President Wang, do you mind helping me go to the convenience store on the other side of the road to buy a pack of cigarettes? Lu Jinan spoke with a casual tone, and the middle-aged man standing beside Fu Huaiyan nodded his head continuously, agreeing without hesitation. No problem, President Lu. Thanks. Lu Jinan said, without any sincerity. Watching the chubby President Wang jog off, Fu Huaiyan calmly extinguished the cigarette in his hand. It was a high-end brand cigarette that someone gave him earlier during the meal, not the brand he was used to smoking. Lu Jinan took out a box of cigarettes from his pocket and passed one cigarette to Fu Huaiyan, biting onto another as he said, Old Fu, your moonlight one is right there across the road. Fu Huaiyan paused in the middle of lighting up his cigarette and looked at Lu Jinan with a deep and heavy gaze. Lu Jinan bit onto his cigarette and stuck both of his hands into his pockets, jerking his chin in Lin Wan's direction and said, I'm not kidding you, she's over there with your fiancé, Gu Hanyan. The cigarette was lit, white smoke rising up from the corner of his lips as Fu Huaiyan put away his lighter. His deep and unreadable eyes looked towards the opposite side of the road, quickly spotting the woman watching him. Just one gaze was enough for the tight strand in Lin Wan's heart to break. She thought of Gu Hanyan's earlier words while they were inside the cafe, and her sweaty palms tightened their grip on her umbrella guiltily. The heavy white smoke blurred Fu Huaiyan's cold and sharp face, yet Lin Wan still felt a strong and heavy pressure closing in on her, causing her to panic. Listen to the full novel at FameTV.com, direct link in the description.